Is this thing on?
You know, it's your boy, Young Easer, a.k.a. John Michael Wright.
It be hard to watch a cat when the vans keep dropping. Got to be at 4 to home and so my pants keep falling. It be hard to understand when come the jaw keep locking. I ain't even trying to talk.
I'm here to talk to you about the movie Free State of Jones. It's a very historical movie. It plays a big part in our history to show what happened back during the Civil War. It's mainly starring Newton Knight, which is played by Matthew McConaughey. Newton Knight was a Southern farmer who was put inside the Confederacy. You know, since he lived in the South, he had no choice. But as the movie goes on, you could tell that he doesn't want to take part in it, especially after the fact when his nephew was killed.
Go, Daniel! Move! Oh! Oh! Ah! I got the boy. It's gonna be all right. It's all right. I know it hurts. Just hold on to me tight. Hold on to me.
Am I gonna die?
Oh, you ain't gonna die. I'm gonna fix it.
You know, seeing this had a big dramatic change in his life. Then he had to flee, and he took his nephew back to where his mom stayed, but he couldn't go back to the Confederate Army because he just didn't fit. And since he being a Southern farmer, he had a wife and a son, and they owned a farm, had a lot of animals, but him and his wife had some things going on where she didn't trust that situation, and she was scared, so she left him. So all by himself, he had to flee to a swamp, nearby led by a slave, a female slave actually. Her name was Rachel. There he met Moses Washington and a couple other slaves that taught him things about the wilderness and how not to get caught by the Confederacy. And on that goes. They stay there for a couple minutes, and then he had some allies, slave allies, if you would say, that was free black men, but still in captivity because during the time, that helped him get to the people that he needed to talk to. And as far as that goes, time passed, and the Confederacy started to look at his location. They find his family, this and that, and he has to go back and check on his house. And it turns out they had burnt his house down. And so he went, and there he met one of his neighbors that had 3 girls, and they was farmers as well. And she was telling him how the Confederacy was coming to take all their stuff.
Clothes and blankets, they'd be back for them in an hour. They told me to round up all the hogs I got and put them in a pen.
Who did?
The cavalry officer and the...
Tax agent.
Yeah.
After this incident happened, this really fired Newton Knight up to start what you could call a revolution against the Confederacies. So he rounds up most of the soldiers that was in his same situation that fled the Confederate army, and they create some type of little rebellion or militia, you would call it, to go up against the Confederacy as far as them from taking their corn, taking their clothes, taking all the stuff in the houses and things like that. So they wind up getting guns. He gets help from some of his friends that are in power politically wise, and they get a couple people and they start a little militia, and they start going and taking back stuff that the Confederates had took from them. And this puts a big old change in the film, because Newton Knight goes from being down, hiding from the Confederacy, to standing up and fighting with them with at least 100 people. So everything going good for them, things is looking good. They get guns, they get slaves, and they all unite together, and they have a feast before battle. And during that feast, there was still some tension as far as slavery, because the white man called this Moses Brown a nigger. And Newton Knight was trying to get them to get away from that, because that's what the Confederate Army was doing. Now, if you're going to go against the Confederates, you don't want to be doing the exact same stuff they're doing, because it doesn't make you any different. But anyway, things goes on, and they go to Jones, Mississippi, where they take up uprising against the Confederates to take down the town. and they name it Free State of Jones. And Newton Knight himself takes over.
Forward. We declare the land north of the Pascagoula Swamps, south of Enterprise, and east of the Pearl River to the Alabama border to be a free state of Jones. And as such, we do hereby proclaim and affirm the following principles. Number one, no man ought to stay poor so another man can get rich. And two, no man ought to tell another man what he's got to live for or what he's got to die for. Number three, what you put in the ground is yours to tend and harvest, and ain't no man ought to be able to take that away from you. Number four, every man's a man. You can walk on two legs. You're a man.
Hi, my name is the Free State of Jones Whisperer. Free State of Jones takes place in the 1800s around Abraham Lincoln's presidential election. It is during
Go ahead, John.
the beginning of the Civil War.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The setting is in
ahead.
Jonesboro, Mississippi. Thank you, Ebony. Thank you.
You welcome.
The
sir.
plot is kind of messed up because at the beginning he wants to fight for the Confederates.
Yes.
But towards the
And he
end,
wants to
the
fight.
main plot, please be quiet. The main plot is for him to take over the Confederates because they are messing up the people
Go
in
ahead.
Jonesboro.
Go ahead.
Ebony, please, I'm trying to do something. Like what I was saying, the main
Okay.
purpose of the film is to show how racism was crazy back then, even
Okay,
towards
John.
the whites. Farmers had to be forced into the Confederates or they would be hanged. That is a big no-no. Because if you're fighting for slaves and you kill your own men, y'all gonna lose the war because y'all against each other, you dummies.
And go ahead. Go ahead, John. Go
You know what's
ahead.
going on. Free State of Jones.
And my name is Ebony Dawn Hightower. Cause we are family. Cause we gotta be a family. Please.
Okay. Thank you for that introduction. Now the quality of this film, it was good camera quality.
It was
That's
good.
not the quality I'm
camera
talking about.
Copy.
Chill, please. This is my time. Quality as far as what it did,
Excuse me.
the things that it told us about in history. Third is how it affected everybody. First, it told us about things that the Confederates did and their farmers.
Amy.
Second,
Me.
it told us about how the Civil War went
And
on
you got
both
very
sides.
interesting.
Because you knew what the North was fighting for, slaves.
And you
Not
got
to
very
have slavery.
interesting.
And the South was fighting to have slaves and have complete power over all the farmers and crops. So the quality of the movie was good. It's very interesting because it's a lot of fight scenes like this one.
Newton, I knew your daddy.
You got scenes like that, of course I want to watch it. It's dudes getting shot up. But anyway, even it's more interesting because you learned a lot of facts about things that the farmers went through on the south side. Not everybody on the south was kind of messed up. We have some good slave owners on the south. Ain't that right, Ebony?
Yes. Cause this is what, cause I got mom and dad. And this is my dad.
Get the trash down, both of them.
Okay, we be right back. Sorry.
That's what I was saying. The interest in the movie was great because you got a lot of facts. Stop. You got a lot of facts about how Jonesboro, Mississippi was formed in Free State of Jones. You learned about Newton Knight, who was a great man in history. You learned about the things that his grandsons went through back in 85 years after what happened. So it all ties in on racism and stuff, how things never changed. And even now, things ain't changed because, you know, I still get called the N-word, I mean. But that's a different case. So, quality and interest is great. The movie is tough. You need to watch it. As far as screenplay and directing and the scripts and all that, I don't know too much about that because I'm not a director and I looked it up and I was confused. But I'm gonna tell you what I do know. Matthew McConaughey is a great actor. We all seen him in other types of movies. Ebony, you seen him in movies too, right?
Yes.
See, we both seen him. And Matthew McConaughey played a great role. The way he did his
we
words,
know
his tone, we call it Ebony. His southern accent was amazing. Everything. And he played the role of liking a black girl great too. Because we all know he's married to a white woman.
Okay, get that chapstick. No.
Ebony, stop.
I need that chapstick.
So yeah, the acting was great. Symbolism. Symbolism. That scene.
Excuse me.
The scene. Let me get out. The scene where Moses Washington is hung and he got blood running down his leg. Symbolic for slavery. Shows it did not matter. That's just even after the 13th Amendment was passed and people were still hanging black people. Just look. Though the movie was based on true events, all of the characters in there were not true. Most of them was false, just to make the movie more epic. The Lieutenant Newton Knight was facing when they were stealing the coin. Yeah, made up. Give the movie some action. You don't want to just hear a boring documentary, I would say, of Newton Knight. Ain't nobody gonna watch that. They want to see somebody be like, say hello to my little friend. Now don't steal my coin. Say, don't nobody want to hear some Newton Knight was a man who led a revolution. That John boring, but give me something I can see. Hey! I'm trying to see that. Nobody want to see no bull jump. And Moses Washington, he was fake. He wasn't real. They added him to enhance the movie about how Newton Knight was on both sides. Just because he married a black woman, they was like, oh, since he married a black girl, I mean, I assume he like black dudes too. Like, he cool with black dudes, so they gave him a black best friend in the movie. I understand that. Go ahead. The movie was great.
Yeah, it's my
The
turn.
production value was great. The box office for that movie was, I think it was like 70 million. So, you know, they made a couple bank. It only cost $4 million to make it. But yeah, all that was great. So yeah, the movie is very realistic. Ooh. Yeah, the movie is realistic. You know, I'm sure all those things could have happened even if it didn't. Like people getting shot up by random farmers, farmhouses getting blown up, churches getting set on fire. All that is realistic. It was no fiction in that movie. The only thing fiction was about it was the characters that they made. But it wasn't even fiction. It was just that they weren't part of it in real life. But yeah, so that wraps it up, bro. Free State of Jones. It's a tough movie. Go watch it. Matthew McConaughey, but however you say his name, is the GOAT. Miss V, you need to watch it. Even though you already seen it, tell your homegirl to watch it. Tell your other homegirl to watch it. Because if they trying to learn about my boy Newton Knight, Free State of Jones is the movie to watch. Thank you.